Brilliant. Well, welcome back to a sunny episode of Upbuild this week. Should be a good day.
Yeah, another good day. So we'll just crack on and see what we can get done today.
Brilliant.
Nice sunny now.
Let's crack on then. I've just laid that on there, the quarter panel, and we're just going to mark around where the new panel comes up to, scribe around it, and then we've got a line where we can cut it all out, and then we can just keep trying the quarter panel on and seeing, getting it to fit up tight. There we go, so I've just grinded through the seam on that edge, so there's a little bit of the panel just to take back off that edge, which we'll do later, but just nice and quick and easy just to grind that seam off from the edge there, and then we'll cut those spot welds out and get in there. Just got a top piece to cut off. There we go. Oh. Quarter panel off. There's a bit of tidying up to do. Oh. Yeah, there's a bit of tidying up to do. So obviously these edges, I'm just getting it out the quarter panel out of the way so I can now spend a bit of time just clean all these edges up, cut all the spot welds out gently, kind of make a neat job. Same down the back of here, and then down the front there you saw obviously I've just grinded that edge off, and then just easy to peel away. We can get the new quarter panel on, get a sort of closer fit to it, and mark any areas out that need a little bit extra trimming off. Anyway, that's it. That's that quarter panel off. Trim it off.
Now, we've got the outside painted there with a primer on that, and that saves it all going rusty now.
We'll just give it a little trial fit.
So we'll just give it another trial fit here on here and just see how it works.
Right then, that's the panel laid on for about the 100th time, I think. It's kind of taking it on, measuring, putting it back, trimming it, taking it off, putting it back, a little bit of panel beating shape, and there's still a little bit of work in it with the panels and getting them to fit nice. But I've got it close at the minute, so what I want to do now is just make my final sort of cuts on the body of the car where you can see the new panel comes up to, so I've got that sitting where I want it to sit. So I'll describe those areas and then I'll trim the rest of the body of the car. Little gaps like this, these will pull up, a bit of panel beating needing here, a bit of shape in there. But it's at a point where I know I can cut the body of the car now to the right size. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just describe these areas. There we go. Right, so I'll just see what I've scribed across the top there now. I'll trim those areas off. That keeps that little bit of profile on the body of the car. That panel will then sit up there, move a bit further back then, and also this top piece needs a little bit of grinding out. Just a process, keep working through it, keep getting the panels. It's just so time consuming because the panels are on, they're off, they're on, they're off. Just the process, getting it all lined up. Any little bits of gaps that are there now, we can work with them, no problem. So we've got everything sat in nicely on the top here, so you can see nice and neat around here. Anything, like I say, it'll pull up tight when we're welding it. Sitting with a nice gap along the top there, around here, sitting nice. Close around that area. And then that door gap, that's nice, we can work with that. So as you can see now, a Mk1 rear quarter fills in that gap that there was at the back of that door with the old quarter. So now that's got a Mk1 quarter panel on it now. So we're happy with that though. I'll give you a bit of a view down the side of it with that on. Right, oh, and there's something else also. I just want to quickly mention about the Mk1 doors. A few people mentioned about this area on the top and how we've done the other side. We've filled that area in instead of maybe extending the top of the door. And the reason for that is basically a Mk1 shell, which is what we are creating. We are creating a Classic Mini Mk1. So to do that, to make it look like a Mk1, it actually has to have that area at the top of the door filled in with metal, like I have done on the other side. If I didn't do that and just extended the door, it wouldn't be like a Mk1, because that's not how Mk1s are. Mk1s have a smaller door and a smaller hole or smaller recess for the door to fit in. So a Mk1 has an extra piece of metal in there. So the shell's the same size in a Mk1. It's just the doors are smaller, so it has a piece of metal in here. So what I'll do is I'll insert a little shot of what a Mk1 looks like, an original Mk1, in here, and then I'll give you a close-up look of what we're looking at here on this shell. That's the side that still needs doing. Also, just to note, the rears are to do as well. So the rears need dropping down, but to do that I need to have the rear windows or quarter windows, which I haven't got at the moment, so that I can then create a pattern to do that. So as you can see on this side, there's that piece of metal I've dropped down. So when the door's on, which I haven't got hung on this side at the moment, but when it is hung, the door on this side, it looks exactly the same as a Mk1, where it has that extra piece of metal on the top. Again, the back hasn't been done yet, so you can see obviously it needs to drop down the same amount at the back, but we need to have the rear windows to be able to get the right size, so we can drop that down the right amount so it all fits in. Obviously it'll be the same as the front, but just to get it millimetre perfect we need the rear window. Another thing to note is what can sort of deceive you. If I look at the Mk1, you might think, oh, it hasn't got a gap that's as big, or it hasn't got a piece as big as that. It has. It's just on a Mk1 it's hidden by an extended gutter rail, a drip rail, so it creates a shadow underneath the drip rail, which makes this look smaller than it actually is. So let's say I'll put that piece in, insert that little piece so you can see what a Mk1 rooftop, or what the Mk1 doors look like fitted to on the Mk1 shell. So for us doing that means that that's what we're creating a Mk1. That's what the point of the build is to create a Mk1. It's a Classic Mini Mk1 conversion. So obviously there are easier ways to do it. It would be easier. Let's see where you are. Yeah, so obviously it would be a lot easier just to extend that door frame, and obviously leave the original doors on and attach hinges to the original doors, which is what some people have done. But the doors on a Mk3 onwards are completely different, and so again it wouldn't be a proper Mk1 conversion if we'd done that. So this, at the end of when it's finished, hopefully I'll be fooling myself, never mind fooling anybody else, that it's actually a Mk1. So that's the idea anyway. I'm kind of trying to do the best we possibly can. Yeah, just a quick explanation to answer a few people's questions about those door tops. So the next step really is, now I've got that quarter panel fitting, happy where that is, I'm going to take it off and finish any work that needs doing in the back of there. So there's quite a bit of fabricating and metal work needed in the back of there. We've got a little closing panel to fit in the bottom of the rear companion box. It just sort of sits in the bottom of the sill to close the panel off. And then also the B-pillar, obviously that's the big bit, making that B-pillar and creating that, fabricating all that section. So we're going to go and grab some lunch and then come back and get on with that fabricating that B-pillar and see how far we can get with that. So we'll crack on. See you in a bit. Right, there we go. So what I've done is I've just taken the switch again, light switch, or the hole left the light switch. There's a bit of a guide for where to get this sat on, on the B-pillar. And then what I've done is I've just got the right height and then scribed across the bottom. And then I've got a mark there, then I can cut the doorstep to sit that on top of, so we can get this sitting at the same height. I've used the opposite side as a guide to get this sat in at the right height. And then we'll get somewhere close and we can try the door shut, open and shut the door a few times, see if we're happy with it. And then we'll start trimming where we need to. That should sit in roughly at that height there. So I've scribed that door for top anyway, the doorstep anyway, so we'll get that trimmed off. What we'll do is take that off now, and we'll just spend a bit of time on the back of that panel, putting a bit of strength in. So I'll just pull the panel off, see how it looks in the back. So what we'll do is some of that will come out. What we'll do is we'll put a bit of strength in there first, and then it'll all get primered, painted, and this piece will get ready to sit in there. We'll sit that piece in, we'll get that piece painted up as well, prepared. Right then, so just stop for another quick cuppa. So we've just been putting a bit of plate, we cut that down, put a bit of plate in this front of the B-pillar here, and it'll just kind of box this section in where the old clasp is for the door on the Mk3 or Mk4 this is. And then that piece that I've made for the front for the B-pillar, I've shaped it up there as you can see. So it sits in like that. Oops, hang on a second. Swap hands. There we go. So I'll just sort of shape it up so it fits in the top there, and then it'll tie in at the back where I put that piece of plate. It'll just weld up against that edge where my thumb is. It'll just box that section in there like that, weld in the bottom obviously, and then at the back of that, the back section is a little bit more to trim and tie in at the back, just to sort of strengthen that up. So it's just needs tidying up. That weld needs tidying up a bit. It's just tapped in or welded in. That, so linish that bit of weld back, tidy that up, and then get some primer on it, get it painted in the back of there, and then we'll get that front piece welded on. And then obviously there's a little bit of shaping at the top there as well. I'll show you the other side, just so you can see how the other side looks. So you can see on that side how obviously it's shaped for the door latch to fit in here. So on the other side obviously you can see how that just needs a little bit of shaping. The same way fit on that side. So yeah, we'll crack on with that anyway. We're going to finish with a cuppa and then crack on with that. I think it's going to rain, so we're probably going to have to go back inside the garage again. Looks a bit dark. Just paint without putting your mask on, just sitting around with that. Get that finish back and then get some paint on and give you a bit closer look. Right, there's just a little bit closer look at what we've done. Tied into the bottom there. A little bit of more time that we needed linishing back, but we need to get a die grinder and just to be able to get in those tight corners, I think, to try and get that nice and neat. But obviously maybe a little bit of glazing putty once it's all painted needed maybe a filler. So not as pretty, but I've tied it in, welded it down in the back of that seam in the back of there. Like I say, not very pretty because you can't get in very easy with a welder, but it's solid, and up in the top of there as well in the back, so that kind of like boxes that sort of section of the new pillar which I've put in into that new plate that I put in the back and then into the original B-pillar. It's hard to show exactly without being here and looking at it, but I'm sure you kind of get the idea. There we go. Anyway, my dad's going to stick a bit of Curus on it and then we'll get it primed. Let's try the rear quarter one and see how it looks. Right then, fantastic. So we've just got that quarter panel on just to trial fit to see how the door fits in with that new B-pillar all fitted up there. So I'll just give you a little look at what that looks like. So there's my new B-pillar. You see a little bit of work needed on it yet, linishing it back, and round the bottom there we've got the quarter panel to cut into the doorstep, so there'll be a little bit of the doorstep comes out and the quarter panel will sit back, and also at the top there, just sitting a little tiny bit too high here, so it'll drop down. When we do that, it'll drop down a little bit. We'll trim it in here. It's just that's all trimmed and ready to go on. Still a little bit of work in the back of it to do. I'm quite happy with that door pillar. That's how it's looking anyway. So yeah, really pleased with that. Though. Really pleased with how that's looking. Obviously, I'd love to be able to give you more or show you more. I do, cover a bigger area, but it just everything you can see it just takes so much time. But it's worth taking the time and doing it right. Making it solid as you can see, it's worth spending the extra time. But yeah, so I'm really happy with that. I think that's looking really good. You can see the door shuts nicely. It fits in quite nicely there. That's it. That's great, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Spot on.
That's like another good shift at it.
Well, yeah, I
Hopefully
think that's probably going to be it for this one anyway. So, hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, definitely always give us a thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Really
Thumbs
appreciate that. And they really help us up. The thumbs up really help a lot by pressing the thumbs up button. Really appreciate it.
Don't forget to press the thumb button.
And comment away, ask us whatever you want to do. But, yeah, no, that's great. And if you're new to the channel, or if you haven't subscribed, definitely consider subscribing to our channel. Really appreciate that too. It's great. We're going to go and have some tea now. So we'll see you on the next one. Take care.
Very good. Take care.